Hi, good afternoon. My name is Fiona Descato and I'm the CEO and co-founder of a company called Innovate Communities. So I'm absolutely honoured to be invited as a speaker to today's event. As a social entrepreneur myself, I can empathise with the exhilarating, thought-provoking and somewhat questionable journey to startup that many of you are on today. I know it is far from easy to take the path less traveled, and it's even harder trying to stay on that path. And to tell you the truth, my path has had quite a few potholes, but they are lessening, and every so often one does appear again, but navigating these does get easier to an extent. But what makes the process less daunting and more impactful is by working with others who are in the same space or a similar space to achieve that common goal. And that is why this program and this network is absolutely crucial to your development and the development of your venture. So today, I'd absolutely love to share with you information on the social enterprise I started, how I got there, including some of the trials and tribulations, how we're structured, what we deliver, our impact, and the future, our next steps. So what is Innovate Communities and what do we do? So we are a charity, we're a social enterprise, and we help people to create local solutions to local problems. And together we work to build the communities of tomorrow. To do that, we look at engaging everyone that's affected by a problem to tell their story, to listen to each other and experience the problem from the viewpoint of others, to develop a shared understanding of the problem together. We help these people to collectively visualize the future of what they want and guide them to design and implement the most impactful solutions together. At Innovate Communities, we believe it's only by having all of the relevant people and organizations working together that we can impact the issues of today and shape the vibrant communities of tomorrow. So how did I get there? How did we get there? I was previously the CEO of a local development company in a small Dublin community where the organization delivered government services to further the community development, community education and community business. There were 50 of these companies in the country, and unfortunately through a political decision, 2 Dublin companies lost their core funding back in 2015. So we were one of those. There was a much larger development company on our doorstep, and it wasn't viable for 2 companies to move forward, and we just had little chance of appealing the decision. It was an extremely difficult time. We had 25 years of experience in delivering community services in that community, and we also had 25 employees. They had families and mortgages, but the company had to be wound down. This left me with 2 options, as I could see at the time. I could either do something about it by reinventing the company or just simply move on. And sometimes I wished I just moved on. But as I said, these journeys are never easy. So I was younger at the time, quite a bit younger. I was married, I had no kids. So it was me. So it was a lot easier to take this opportunity. And I suppose I was really interested in social innovation and design thinking and started to learn how this could actually empower and help people in communities to solve problems and problems that affected them daily. I really wanted to drive something that was actually led by the community to design new products and services where the businesses where gaps existed, because the program that we delivered previously with the government, it was very much top down in terms of the key performance indicators that the communities had to achieve and we had to leverage. So I decided to take the leap and I relaunched the company by designing service provisions with communities and for communities, basically putting people first. And we like to call it people-powered innovation. So I retained 2 members of the team and went back to basics to determine what we were actually going to do. As you can imagine, this was really daunting, and we re-engaged our local community and our potential customers, the residents, the businesses, the nonprofit organizations, and previous partners to re-understand their needs and what the revised future requirements were. We started developing this with ethnographic research across the community, and to cut a very long story short, we devised several layers of research and arrived at 3 concurring themes from this research. One of them was occupying vacant and underused spaces. I will not go into the other 2 because they're not of relevance just now. Around each of the themes, we built what we call a community of practice to support our work. So these were local residents, funders, and experts in the space of vacant property. And we worked with each community of practice to further drill down to the specific issues of need within that theme, and then co-designed types of projects and services and potentially businesses that would ultimately support the community to alleviate the issues that were identified. The community of practice for our vacant space theme identified issues around lack of pre-start and startup space in the community, the need for a low-cost space, and the need, which I loved, for space where the community could present their challenges, even social and economic challenges. And fortunately, this model actually came to life in the form of our social innovation hub, the Ballymun Hub. Through our community of practice, we managed to leverage government and financial support, local government and municipality support, and IKEA. And our first hub became fully operational in Ballymun in 2016. It was a 320 square metre space in a beautiful civic building in the heart of the Ballymun community, a space that community could access, and as we had envisaged, to work with us to design solutions to the challenges faced using, at the time, we used just design thinking and a few other tools, and a space that would allow the community to develop these into the solutions and hopefully social enterprises. The model actually proved to be really impactful, which was incredible, and we received support from government and local municipality again to scale this model to a second location, which is our Liberties location in the heart of Dublin City. We were due to renovate this building earlier, but due to COVID and our pandemic that we've all faced, it's now hopefully going to be renovated at the end of this year. So I just want to touch on how we're actually structured. So as I said, we're a charity and a company limited by guarantee. We have a board of 8 directors that represent areas of expertise that we need to drive forward our company's strategy, which you can find our company strategy on our website. The directors sit across political sphere, ex-private sector, social innovation experts, and one of them actually recently moved to Australia, and thanks to Zoom, they are still on our board and still developing the governance of our organisation. And we have community residents, which obviously is very important. We have 8 members of the team and are now recruiting for a 9th. We're small, but we're growing. And as a social enterprise, we do raise our own income. Approximately 55% of our income is generated through sales, renting out our community space, and obviously applying for contracts, government contracts, municipality contracts, and delivering those. We also have funders. Again, municipality would fund some of the programs that have been generated through our hub space, but we also have private sector funders and supporters, LinkedIn and Workday, both US multinationals, who have actually supported the development and growth of a spin-off project that came out of our Ballymun hub called Inspire Mentoring Program. They are now supporting the team who are delivering that to scale nationally and aiming to scale to Europe in 2022. So that's a great, impactful project that's come out of our hub in Ballymun. So in terms of our services, we have 3 areas: our spaces, our programs, and the network. So our spaces, they're the innovative, they're innovative, but they allow us to do our innovative work in the community context. They act as convening or holding spaces where the people-powered innovation is fostered, and they help create the new pathways aimed at reducing or mitigating the problems faced. And they also act, as I said, as workspaces where the new or existing community enterprises and social enterprises are formed through the impactful interventions that are created with and by the community. So our programs, our activities that are based in our space, and some of them are based online now since COVID, support the capacity building of people in the communities in community innovation, design thinking and system thinking to support these people to solve the challenges that they're faced. And the other programs that are designed and developed are what comes from that creative activity in the innovation. Our Youth Academy program, our Inspire program, and our Innovate for Growth program that are designed with the community for the community and are then launched in the hub for that specific area. Many of these you can see on our website and get further details from www.innovatecommunities.ie. And thirdly is our networking. We're developing the community practice on the ground where there are issues, developing networks around building people's capacity, community change makers and community leaders, community organizations in social innovation, pulling in design thinking and systems thinking and change to allow them to deliver their own solutions to problems faced. So that's really the three areas of the services that we provide. And our impact, I'm not going to go specifically into numbers, but I'll just kind of emphasize some of the areas that we've worked on and what we've actually delivered. We tackled specific local problems experienced by groups on the ground that were not necessarily addressed by the market or existing institutions engaging the unemployed, social entrepreneurs, businesses and community organizations. We've created added value projects, programs and services delivering measurable social and economic benefit to the community, such as our Inspire, our Incubate for Growth program, Youth Academy, all seen on our website. And as I said, in regards to the Inspire program, we've scaled successful projects across geographies from the micro to the meso with the corporates, universities, local governments and nonprofits, which has been phenomenal in terms of the work that we've achieved. So I want to talk a bit about the future and the importance of developing our ecosystem, which I hope will have some nuggets of information for yourselves as well. Like many in the space, our social innovations have focused on delivery of outcomes to tackle social demand and societal challenges in our communities. However, to deepen impact, we're aware that we had to actually focus more on understanding and solving the root cause of these issues we were treating. The symptoms. We were developing quick fixes and knew that we needed to include the integration of other stakeholders as part of the wider system to facilitate systemic change. And I suppose this was kind of hard to reflect and decide how we were going to incorporate this in developing our work, in developing and refining the tools that we were using in communities. So we took the end of 2020 and the beginning of 2021 as an opportunity to re-strategize and go back out and with our stakeholders, our wider ecosystem, and redo our strategic plan for the next 5 years, which we did. And through this work, we learned how to adopt a system thinking approach to our work. And we developed this learning through a wonderful program we did through MIT in the US through the Presencing Institute. And anything we learned, we put into practice in our test community, our hub community of the Liberties in Dublin. And this actually supported us to develop a model in community-driven innovation to support people to better lead change in communities, to come up with clever and creative solutions to the problems and challenges they and their clients faced. So I'd like to give you a little bit, but only a little bit of an insight into how we actually did this. So I just want to give you an example of child welfare as a child welfare issue. And if there was a child welfare issue in the community, we would want to bring everyone together who was involved in that issue. The person who brings someone representing the child into a room, bring the local government, local politicians, the local social welfare support, social worker, all into one room. So everyone who is interested in the welfare or supporting the welfare of that child. And what we had to do through the pandemic, it wasn't an actual physical room, it was a virtual room. So our tool basically supports them to visualize the current system surrounding that child, understanding how the system supports the child and works or doesn't support the child, where are the successes in the system, where are the failures, and who is responsible for that, and identifying those people, those organizations in the system. It is not obviously an easy space to be in, but it enables each person in our organization being represented to actually see how the components of the system work together and don't. And as I said, look at the challenges and opportunities. And it's a lot easier to see it when you're standing in a room with people rather than sitting writing up notes on a board or a chart. It's people embodying the role and the space and as part of the ecosystem that they're in. It's just a bit of a novel way of visualizing. And then we work with everyone to help them to visualize how they actually want to change the system. They know what it is now, they've looked at it. So where do they want to move to? How do they want the system to change, to better support that child in the system? So when we have where they are currently and where they want to go, we have to highlight the gaps between the two systems, the existing and then the preferred system, and then help them to focus on the types of interventions or projects or even prototypes that they need to develop from where they're currently at to where they want to go, and help them then roll these prototypes out to test them, refine them, and see if that helps them move to the place, the future that they want to be, and the new system that they want to create. We then support people to develop a collective impact plan on how to move that new way of working forward. But it has to impact all the strategies of the stakeholders involved. It can't just support one. Everyone has to change their way of working and has to impact their own strategy in order for the systemic change to actually take place. So it isn't then a quick fix. It isn't just another program or another project. It's actually working to create root, to support the root cause of the issue in the system. And that's the model that we're working to roll out in the communities to better communities, to allow them to come up with better solutions to the problems that they're facing. So we've tested it, we've got our knowledge for MIT, it's working, it's yielding new prototypes in the Liberties community where we're working with it at the moment. So we're now, we've developed a paper on looking at driving forward community-driven innovation to build resilient, sustainable and equitable communities. And we've pitched that recently to government, and government are now looking at how we can work with them to deliver this model into other communities, both in an urban context where it's already been tested and in a rural context. So it's very, very exciting for us at this point in time. But I just want to re-emphasize this is collaboration is at the heart of everything we've done. Working together. We're not working on our own. We're not working in silos. We're working together. We're breaking down the barriers. We're bringing everyone together in a space, in the hub, in a room, online. Space is really important. It's about working together to create collective impact with our stakeholders and to build the solution to the issue faced. So in conclusion, I believe that in order to move forward with our projects and communities and yours, whether you're a social entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, my advice to you is to don't think of yourself as doing this on your own. You're not. Don't think of yourself on an island. You're part of an ecosystem, whether you know it or not. If you don't, please get to know the ecosystem that you as a social entrepreneur are operating in. And get to know these people, get to know those organizations and institutions within your ecosystem. As you know, it's your achievement. Your achievement lies beyond your capabilities alone. So I'm going to leave you with this question. So do you know, as social entrepreneurs, as entrepreneurs, do you know who's in your ecosystem? And do you know how you collaborate with them to achieve the change that you want and the change that you believe in as a social entrepreneur? So thank you for listening to my speech today. And I hope you can take away some pieces of information that will benefit you in your work going forward. Thank you again. And I hope to connect with some of you in the future. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.